Hey, it's Mark Ferguson, and we're back with another virtual real estate video. I haven't done one for a few days, but I still have been very active in Upland, but I've also been very active in the real estate world as well. So we ended up opening our store, our mini mart and liquor mart yesterday. Had a ton of issues. Our computer system went down on the first day, of course, and my sister had a rental property that flooded that I was trying to help her with. So it's been a little crazy around here. But if you want to see those crazy stories, check out Mark Ferguson Invest for More, that YouTube channel. But today we're talking about virtual real estate, not real estate here. We love the likes, comments, shares, so keep those coming. As you can see, we're in Los Angeles, and there's a couple things I want to talk about. First, my strategy for the upcoming collection announcement, which should be Thursday, for the Los Angeles release, North and South. And then we have some other kind of cool, exciting news that happened back in the Bronx in New York. And am I selling any of the properties that I end up minting in LA yet? So we'll talk about that too as well, and maybe go over some of my net worth stuff. So kind of a real overview of everything going on here. So first off, we minted a lot of things in South Los Angeles, but a lot of it was very expensive. I kind of made some mistakes, I think, looking back on it, like minting really big properties in Venice and some other areas where I could have minted much smaller properties. But can't change the past, so we'll just deal with it. Now, in North Los Angeles, we minted properties in the Sunset Strip area, Ventura Boulevard, and some other really cheap areas, and those have been working out much better, I believe. So you can see I've been very busy since then as well, so we're going to talk about that first. The collections will be announced on Thursday, and if you aren't familiar with that, Upland, let's see here, make sure we're in Los Angeles. Nope, we are not. So, where's Los Angeles? Probably went right. Oh, we don't have collections in Los Angeles yet. What am I doing? So anyway, they haven't announced them yet. Here's the collections for San Francisco. So they have collections, just basic ones you can use anywhere. A newbie can be in any city. King of the Street is the same properties on one street in any city. City Pro, 5 properties in any city. And then you have specific collections in each city, like San Francisco. If you have 3 properties in San Francisco, which I don't have, you have a collection. And when you get a collection, you get a bonus reward, and your earnings are boosted by this amount, 1.3. So every property you have, you earn a certain amount of money every month, every day, however you want to look at it. And these collections boost how much you make. So you can see they keep going up. With limited collections, exclusive collections get higher, the bonuses get higher, rare collections get higher, ultra rare collections get very high. And I just completed a rare collection in New York last week that I did a video of. That was pretty cool, my first one. And now we're waiting for Los Angeles to be released. So they release the city first, then do a week or two, and then release the collections after that. So you don't know where those collections will be. So that sometimes they're streets or neighborhoods, or sometimes even certain like firehouses or museums or theaters, things like that. So you don't know what they're going to be, and it's kind of a surprise. So it's kind of cool, but you can also waste a lot of money speculating on that. So a lot of people have said, Sunset Boulevard will be a collection, Hollywood Boulevard will be a collection. People have commented on Obama, that street being a collection, Venice Boulevard. There's so many streets in so many areas. Koreatown might be a collection, downtown Los Angeles might be a collection, Chinatown might be a collection, but you just don't know. Sometimes it's kind of common sense, and the expensive, cool areas are collections, and sometimes they aren't. Sometimes they don't always do that. So it's really a guessing game, and you don't know what's going to happen. And so what tends to happen is you can kind of pay attention to Discord, the Discord channel, YouTube videos, and see what other people think collections are going to be. And you can also tell by the prices on on certain streets and neighborhoods what people think the collections will be. So you can kind of mint things in special areas, and you don't have to wait for the collection. You can sell them before the collection and make money. And so that's what I've been doing on Sunset. I think I've sold 3 properties on Sunset Boulevard. So we minted a lot along here. We showed that in one of my previous videos as well. And I've got one for sale here for $109,000. We minted that for $39,000. Now, we don't know that's a collection. It might be a collection, it might not, but there's a lot of properties on Sunset. So there's no guarantee it will be a collection. And you can see right here, we just sold some more properties there. But right here, we sold one on Sunset Boulevard for $99,900. We sold another one for $99,000 yesterday. So we have been selling properties on here and increasing our net worth. Now, I have some other properties on Ventura, which may or may not be a collection as well. And those prices are lower because there's a lot more properties, I believe, on Ventura, a lot lower mint prices. So kind of comes into how much do you want to price things? How do you want to, there's a lot of questions there. And there's you know what we're going to do? We're going to send my guy. Oh, I have 11 cents. Never mind. I'm all full on cents. I was going to go pick up those cents, but I'm full. So I have these properties on Ventura, but, I'd have to price them pretty low, I think, to get them sold compared to the properties on Sunset. And it's like, is it worth pricing them that low, or should I just risk it? There's a lot of question marks there. And even if it's not a collection, sometimes properties on like major streets like this can still be worth more than regular properties, and you're still okay. And this one is a named property, the Tamashi Ramen House, and named properties tend to be worth a lot more as well. So that's something else to consider. Even if you don't hit the collection, if it's a named property, it's probably going to be worth more. Name just means that Upland has a name on it. And again, this is the one I really wanted to mint. And I showed this before too, because it's the Dalai Lama. Can't believe I didn't do that. Anyway, it was tricky minting stuff. So that's kind of my video stopped on me again. So I apologize for that. But I want to keep going and do a voiceover because this video showed a lot of my strategies and what I was doing here. So not only was I minting on Sunset and Ventura, but I minted on some very small streets that I recognize as well, like Crenshaw we just saw. I minted in some areas that seem to be, more popular, more expensive, so that helped. And then I've also been minting just everywhere, as you can see, and that's because the prices are so cheap and there's so many unminted properties. And so when I do that, though, I'm often not just looking for cheap properties, but I'm also looking for neat areas, parks, golf courses, or streets I recognize, or like this canyon right here. Like there's a canyon. I have no idea what canyon that is, but it looks kind of cool to me. So maybe Upland will think it's cool as well, right? I had one on Greeley Street because that's where I'm from. I talked about that in my last video. Had some on, I think Balboa was one. Again, who knows if that will be a collection or not, but hey, I recognize the name, right? So there's some cheap properties on it. Let's buy some properties on that street. And so I did this in the Bronx as well, where I went around and I bought properties in as many neighborhoods as I could. However, when I did that, everything had been minted, right? Everything minted out in like an hour. There's nothing available anymore. So I was paying 4 to 5 times the mint price for these properties. I was paying $20,000, $30,000 UPIX for these properties in different neighborhoods. And I thought, hey, if I hit some collections, it'll be worth it. I'll be able to sell these for a lot. But it did not work out well. I hit a few collections with those, but not very many. And on the collections I missed, where I paid $20,000, $30,000 UPIX for properties, and they weren't in a collection, those prices tanked. Just the bottom fell out of them. So my $25,000 property is now worth $12,000 or $13,000 UPIX. And I say dollar, I mean UPIX. So here in North LA, right, I can still mint these properties. And like on this Nordhoff, like $10,000 was one of the most expensive properties I bought after my initial minting on special streets. Nordhoff may or may not be a special street, but it's a main artery. Hey, maybe it'll be okay. So I can mint these properties for $8,000 to $10,000 UPIX. And even if I miss the collections now, right, I should be really close to the floor. I should be really close to the bottom. I think the floor right now in North LA is $7,000 or $8,000. So after a while, these are going to be minted. The properties are going to sell, and they're going to be worth more money. So I've just been going to areas like I am right here, and I'll kind of like kind of get in a neighborhood, see what all is for sale, see what the prices are. I'll click on the cheapest property, see where it's at. And then I can just kind of, go over to that property where I know they're cheap and see if there's other properties I can mint in that area. And you can see there's lots of FSAs I can't mint, but there's also regular ones right there. $8,000 I can mint all over the place that really I don't think can be a bad deal in the long run. But not only that, I come back and I'll scroll out and look for kind of cool areas too, right? That was just a normal subdivision in the middle of the city. Over here, we've got a golf course, a park, a lake. So I always check those areas out and see, hey, is there anything over here that's cool? Can I unmint or mint some things, right by the park or on the golf course? Why not check it out? So 11,000, really not that bad. But there's a street in between the property and the golf course, so it's not ideal. But still, we're right there. So if people are going to buy properties in this neighborhood, right, they're probably going to be named properties. Like I said before, named properties are always more expensive, or right on the golf course. Look at that, $8,000. Okay, just found where I'm going to buy my next properties. Send my guy over there, and $8,000 on the golf course, or maybe it's a park right there. But either way, backing up to an area like that, pretty good location. So if I'm going to mint stuff, I try to find some things that are, in interesting locations, not just cheap, but cheap and interesting, which you can get, as you can see. And so bought that one. And then there's some more over here I can buy. So I'll just send my guy back over here again. And then he should be in close enough range to get that property. There it is. That one is now green, so I can mint. I can't mint the FSA, but I can mint the non-FSA. Mint that one. Buy another one for super cheap. Pretty cool. I really like the Bronx and how quick it went, in Oakland or Berkeley, how quick it went. The flips you could do. But it's also nice to be able to kind of leisurely come along and buy some of these cool properties as well for not that much money, because we're able to buy 10, 12, 15 properties for the price of one property I sold on Sunset. That's pretty cool. So and here I am trying to send my guy to the next property, get him over there. So reminiscent of the release when you're trying to send your guy in the right direction, get it set up perfectly. And I did that on Sunset Boulevard, where I kept sending my guy from a property I bought a number of times to get him in the perfect location to walk over to Sunset. And I have that video, of course, one of my videos from last week. He's going in the perfect direction. Everything is going great. And then all of a sudden he changed direction and went completely south. I resent him to the location again. Didn't have time. It wasn't going to work out. And then all of a sudden, they had all those delays with the North LA release. And because of those delays, my guy walked right over Sunset Boulevard. I minted a bunch of properties there, so it worked out well for me. So while he is headed in the right direction to buy another one of these kind of golf course properties, we're going to check out something here. And I can't remember what it is, but I know it was something. Or I'm just randomly talking about things. I'm not sure which it is. But I do, you have to wait a little bit to send them over. I didn't want to waste any sends right here because you can, max out at 11 sends. And I want those for the collection announcement on Thursday. That's something I really want to talk about here as well. So right here, we're looking at the upx.me. And I can show you all the properties on Sunset Boulevard, all the ones that are for sale right now. And that gives me an idea of where to price my properties too. I can see what the floor is. So I did sell some of my Sunset properties under $100,000. I apologize if I lowered the floor for some people, but I'd like to get those sold, get them flipped, take that money, buy more of these properties. And I could also look at different boulevards, like Hollywood Boulevard here, which is what we're doing right now. And you can see that floor price is way higher than Sunset Boulevard. And that's because Hollywood Boulevard has less properties. People have more demand for it. They think it'll be a collection more than Sunset. And there's just so many properties on Sunset Boulevard. I think it's very rare or very unlikely that it will become a rare or ultra rare collection. It'll probably be a small time collection, if that. And so if I'm selling properties for $100,000, even if it becomes a collection, right? That might be the floor even after it's announced as a collection. So I'm not too sad about selling those properties at a 50, 60, 70% markup. And actually, it's more than that. It's like 220, 230% markup and making that money right away. Right here, I'm looking at Ventura Boulevard as well to see what those are. Those are even lower than Sunset or Hollywood, just because, again, there's more speculation, more risk that it's a collection. Way more properties on that street as well, way cheaper properties too. So that's why those floors are so low too. And here my guy is. He's at the place. Buy that property. Sweet. So we have 3 new properties bought for very cheap on that golf course or park, whatever it might be, in a new neighborhood. So, now I have all these properties that are minted in different neighborhoods. They may be collections. They might not be. If they are collections, then I'll probably, make a lot more money. And if they aren't collections, I'm still very close to the bottom of the floor price for these properties. So pretty cool how many options we have in North LA right now, even though it didn't mint out and go crazy like the other cities, just because there's so many properties. So, and here I am looking at the next neighborhood over, thinking, hey, doing the same thing. Where are cheap properties? Where can I find them? And then where are some cool areas where maybe I can mint some properties from? Again, kind of a park area there. And this is kind of the strategy I've just been using to buy a lot of really, really cheap properties. Again, sometimes I look at the streets, if they're main thoroughfares, seeing if there's cheap properties along them. San Fernando Boulevard here. Again, who knows if that'll be a collection or not. Kind of a main road. But as you can see, there's properties available there, but they're big, fairly expensive. So it's not like Hollywood Boulevard. It's not like Sunset where everything's sold out, or like Ventura. But there is quite a bit sold on it. So there's a chance there it probably won't be a collection. But if I'm going to buy in this neighborhood, I might as well check and see if there's anything available to buy on that street. And there wasn't anything too great. So on this one, I just kind of went to the normal areas and bought there. But that's something else to talk about too, is when they do announce the collections, that's another opportunity to buy stuff too. So they'll announce the collections on Thursday, and a lot of people will still have properties for sale in those neighborhoods, on those streets. And that is an opportunity, as soon as they announce them, to go in there, try and buy those properties, scoop up some deals, and then possibly flip them, keep them as collections. So there's lots of opportunities, right? Originally minting, you can buy properties already minted, hope they're in collections, hope they make money, or you can buy mint properties, flip them that might be collections before the collections are announced, or you can wait till the collections are announced, then try and buy properties in those areas that are underpriced, that people left for sale, then flip them, keep them. So there's a lot of opportunities with a new city to make money, and it's kind of cool. All right, so finally, towards the end, my other good news, interesting news. Here's the Bronx. You can see all the properties I bought here, many of them worth less than what I bought them for, as I just discussed with the, buying them 4 to 5 times their mint price, and then the floors dropping because they weren't collections. But here's City Island, where I did get 3 minted properties in a collection. And ironically, these properties, if I go to upx.me, were more expensive before the collection was announced than afterwards. So well, that's not entirely true. Right after the collection is announced, there's a lot of excitement. A lot of people are buying and prices jump. But then after a few weeks, they kind of settle down. And so you could buy properties here for less than you could buy them for before the collections were announced, because everybody thought it would be a collection. They thought it was a neat area. Prices were higher then. It was a collection. Prices jumped a little bit. Then they came way back down. So again, don't feel bad about selling properties that might be announced as a collection before they become a collection, because sometimes you're better off. But here's this property. I wanted to show you what happened here recently. And go to my building manager. I can decorate my building because my building is finished. Although, well, I can't decorate it yet. It just finished yesterday. And I have my settings. I have my 3D and graphics turned off for when I'm minting. It makes things go faster. But there you go. My first ever townhouse, condo, whatever you want to call it, that I built on a property, finished up. So I have another video that talks about Spark, how I got my Spark, and how you build properties with Spark. So check that out if you want to see that. But basically, you have properties. You can click on the build button. You can pick what kind of property you want to build, how many hours it will take, dedicate your spark to it, and then you can start building the building. Now, there's not really a use for the buildings yet. Maybe a few shops are open now where you can buy block explorers, that's it. But eventually, we're thinking, or Upland is thinking, they'll have uses for these properties, and they definitely do add value to the property, right? So it's not like they're completely useless. If you want to buy a property with a building on it, it definitely costs more than properties without buildings on them. How much? I've heard 30, 40, 50,000 UPIX is what it adds. So that is a great way to increase your money. All right, so that's all I've got for today. Love the comments, love the shares, love the likes. Keep those coming. Make sure you check out my Invest for More YouTube channel for real estate. Lots of craziness going on there. And we'll have lots of updates when the collections are announced, and maybe another video before those collections are announced as well.